I wouldn't have been able to handle the life I have right now. I had no discipline, I had no structure. I literally enjoyed dreaming more than my actual world. The suffering you're going through right now is because you're resisting from reading your book. By December 31st, 2025, we'll remember this video and be like, yo, Ivan, my entire life changed because I listened to what you said. It's literally masked and hidden within these little thoughts in your head, these little fascinations that you have. Do you really think the version of you that watches porn every night and vapes, do you think he deserves the life of your dreams? I'm gonna tell you the exact step-by-step process that you need to get to that life that you want. What's going on, YouTube? Back here again today. For those of you that are new, my name is Ivan Compres. I'm 20 years old and I run an online fitness coaching business where I help men transform their lives and become their best versions. But today, just out on a walk, getting the steps in. I feel like it's always important to keep your cardio in check, make sure that you're moving. But I wanted to talk about some recent things that have been going on in my life and kind of the impact that they've had on me. So recently, I've been growing a lot. I've been growing a lot on YouTube, on Instagram. All social media is extremely fast and it's great, it's a blessing and I love it. I'm truly grateful for it. But I noticed that as I grow as a person, as I develop my discipline, as I develop my mindset further, there's greater and larger obstacles. And I don't necessarily mean that in a sense of like getting things done, it gets harder. Yeah, like there's more work to do, of course. But I noticed that some of the people around me kind of start to act different. And truly one that was crazy was, this person that I used to have a pretty intimate relationship with. They supported me. We ended things a while back, but kind of just recently, that person's been, just kind of blowing up my phone, texting me, calling me at like 2, 3 in the morning. And it's like, it's kind of crazy because, I never thought that, somebody who has so much respect for me and cared about me so much would be trying to, throw me off track and try to put me down, try to kind of get me off the course. And I kind of wanted to share that little piece of my story because, things are going to change as you grow. The people around you, the people that you care about, they may not all support you in your growth. I figured that person would, truly support me, truly understand that I'm onto bigger and better things and not just be selfish and try to put themselves first, still to this point. But, there's gonna be people who try to deter you off your path. There's gonna be people who try to manipulate you. There's gonna be people who wanna see you fail. They wanna see you lose. They wanna see you kind of not have what you should have because they want you all for themselves. The truth is, when that comes about, you got to be strong enough to say no and to focus on your purpose. There's gonna be constant temptations in life, and every day I'm always faced with temptations. Faced with temptations of lust. I'm faced with temptations of going back to who I was and kind of abandoning everything I've built because my mind starts to say it's hard, but it's not hard. And the truth is, as humans, like, we're always gonna face temptations. We're always gonna face challenges and obstacles that try to bring us back to who we were and not who we're becoming. But it's all a part of the process. If you never had the challenges in your path that are forming you into who you need to be, you would never be able to be that version of you that receives all your blessings. And the truth is, for so long, I literally, anytime there's an obstacle, I went through a breakup in the past. Obviously, the situation I kind of been going through recently with that person as well is like, I used to always think that it was a negative. I used to always think like, yo, this sucks. Like, so shitty what happened, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is though, there really is no shitty situations. There really is no negative. And I'm starting to realize that now. For so long, I'd always be like positive and negative, positive and negative, positive and negative. But the thing is, if those negatives never happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. And the negative things that are happening to me right now, without them, I won't be where I will be 6 months from now. life is always changing. There's always different obstacles, different situations that come about. But if we never go through them, we will never be the person that's capable of receiving the beauty and the blessings that are meant for us. Now, I was at the podcast studio. As you guys know, I got a podcast dropping on the way. For those of you who are tuning in, brand new, podcast will be dropping soon, super valuable. But anyways, I was at the podcast studio filming my podcast, right? And the sound engineer, the guy who filmed it for us, all that good stuff, great guy, absolutely G. And at the end of the podcast, I brought my own like USB-C to get the files, right? And so he was uploading them and he realized, oh shoot, like I don't have the proper cord to move it to your USB-C, so I'm gonna have to kind of transfer it to my Mac, then from my Mac to this, and then from that to your USB-C. So it ended up taking about an extra hour just to move the files around. And in that hour, we just started talking to the guy and he was like, yo, I love what you're doing with your podcast. I love that you're incorporating faith and speaking the word and telling your story to others and your testimony. And he kind of just started speaking his voluntarily. And now the guy, right, he's been like a producer. He's opened for some very famous artists. He knows like a bunch of like big celebrities and stuff like that. And he was kind of telling us like, yo, just stay true. Like no matter what, live in your purpose. But when it comes to the positivity aspect, he mentioned an analogy and a story that still has stuck with me to this day. So he told me a story. He goes, there's this girl, right? She goes to a prep school. She's poor, but she gets a full scholarship to go to a prep school, right? The prep school gives her money and she gets to attend there to play baseball. And so while she's there playing baseball, she's on scholarship, she's with her friends on the way to a game. And as the bus pulls over, they stop, they get to the game, they hop off the bus, right? And so that girl's friend hops off the bus and she gets hit by a car, right? And then she passes away. So now I'm gonna stop you here and ask you, is that a positive or a negative? And so most people here, they'll listen to this part of the story and say, oh, that's a negative, it's so unfortunate. Like, girl lost her life, imagine her family. Like, yeah, that's sad. But now because of that, the poor girl, she didn't play that much. But because that girl passed away, she was able to play, get a full scholarship to attend college to play baseball and take care of her family, have money to take care of her family who was poor. So now you may be asking, is it a positive or a negative? Most people say, oh yeah, so it was a positive. It was great because she ended up having more of an opportunity. It still sucks that girl died, but she got an opportunity to change her family's life. Yeah, but when she gets to college, she tears both of her hamstrings and she can't play baseball ever again. And she ends up losing her scholarship money and all that stuff. So now that happens. But because of that, she becomes an astrophysicist. She decides to study the stars, study the atmosphere, and becomes one of the greatest astrophysicists in history. So because of that, in 20 years, she saves the Earth from an asteroid that would have destroyed the whole planet. So now I ask you, was it truly a negative to begin with? No, most people say, oh no, she saved the better good of the world. It was a positive. And so I relate that story back to our day-to-day lives. The things that we see as quote unquote negative may not be negative to begin with, because there's always a deeper why. We can't tell as humans. We don't know why, but there always is a deeper reason. That breakup you may be going through, shorty cheated on you, maybe you got left, maybe you got made fun of, you got bullied, you're being bullied, all your friends hate on you, whatever it may be. Yo, it may be for a positive, and 99% of the time it is. There's a positive reason behind it. It's shaping you into who you need to be. But then the other part that he added on top of this is the importance of focusing on your own story and on your own chapter, right? So there may be negatives that you see, quote unquote, negatives in your life. And the thing is, it's all a part of your story. It's all a part of your book. And he was telling me, like, bro, people get lost because they want to read someone else's book. They don't want to read their own. Their own book is already written. It's beautiful. It's amazing just the way it is. But people get jealous of others. They see others winning and they want that. And it's like, that could all be yours, but maybe you're just not on that chapter of your book. And that really stuck with me because I'm like, that's insane. Like, everything is for a positive. Life is constantly changing, and everybody has their own book. Life is moving at its own pace for each and every single person. Just because that person you see on IG has everything you want, they have the cars, they got the watches, and you don't right now, that doesn't mean you never will. You guys are just on different chapters of your book and of your story. You can't compare yourself to other people because everybody's story is tailored to themselves. Everybody's path is focused on their own thing. You can't compare, because comparison, I believe it truly is the thief of joy. I think it's good to essentially see how others are doing, see how they're growing, and be like, how can I implement that into my life to grow as well? But I think once you compare, you tread into thin waters of where disappointment comes in. You start to feel anxious, you start to feel angry because you don't have what you want. But anyways, it's so important to focus on your book, on your chapter, on your story, because if you don't, and you're constantly just focused on someone else's, how do you expect yourself to learn? That's like reading a book, right? You're reading a book, and instead of like looking at the pages in your book, you want to look over at the person next to you. And you're supposed to be reading your book. Your teacher told you you have to read your book. But because you were so focused on the other person's, you didn't retain any of the knowledge that was being taught to you. You didn't retain any of the things you were supposed to learn because you were so focused on someone else's. And so that little parable right there compares to the real world. If you're so focused on the person next to you, their success, what they're doing, what their life's looking like, how do you expect to grow? How do you expect to grow? If you're spending all day on Instagram keeping up with your favorite celebrities, seeing what they're doing, seeing what they're buying, seeing where they're at, and you don't even put in any time for yourself to go to the gym, to eat healthy, to focus on your life, how do you expect to grow? You reap what you sow. And so to further on to that point of reading your own book, he also mentioned to me that when you don't read your own book, right, you go through struggles and you go through challenges. And he related it to, a teacher. Right? A teacher gives you things to do in school. You have things you have to complete. You have tasks you need to do. And when you don't do it, there's a punishment, there's a consequence for it. And so, right, you don't do your homework, what happens? You get bad grades, you fail. Maybe you got to repeat that grade. And so he said, right, when you don't read your book, when you don't read the chapter that God is calling you to read, and you're so focused on someone else's, you're going to hit rock bottom because God's going to try to show you, like, yo, you're so focused on someone else's book that you're going through struggle. You're going through pain. You're resisting the path that is already meant for you. And so, boom, here's some struggles. And what 99% of the time happens is when people hit rock bottom, they realize, yo, I'm just going to do the homework. I've been putting this off for so long. Maybe I've been putting off applying for that job. Now I don't have any money. How am I going to pay rent? Now I have to actually submit that application. So it's like you hit rock bottom and then you just do that thing you didn't want to do. So it's like a lot of people go through life and just resist everything that's in front of them until they absolutely have to do it. Because what? It's annoying. It's hard. Like, I caught myself in that cycle for so long. I used to know what I was supposed to do. I knew I had to start a coaching business. I knew I had to help others. But I'm gonna say for like the months, maybe even a year of me knowing I had to do that, I didn't do it. Because I was like, oh, that's hard. How am I gonna do that? How am I gonna, help others? How am I gonna do this? I didn't feel qualified. I didn't feel worthy because I always put my self-worth on things outside of myself. But I was so focused on someone else's book. I was so focused on the guy next to me who was running a coaching business, comparing myself to his story. But how can I compare to somebody who isn't in my book? So as soon as I started reading my own book, I started putting my head down and doing the work. Stopped focusing on everyone else. Everything changed for me. Everything changed. I'm free. I can move wherever I want in the world. I help tons of people. All my clients get amazing results. Built by Faith Coaching is leveling up each and every single day. And it's like, that wouldn't be my reality. That wouldn't be the life I live had I just went and not read my book. Had I just let the tension and the pressure cave me in. But as I mentioned, with the hitting rock bottom, that's what happened to me. I hit rock bottom. Got cheated on. Felt like crap. asked myself, is this all there is to life? Felt terrible. But hitting that rock bottom brought me closer to God and allowed me to manifest that dream in my heart into the reality. So guys, I'm telling you this so you don't have to go through immense suffering just to live your purpose. That dream that's inside of you that you may be afraid to bring to the world, you may be afraid to even tell the people around you of that dream because it's so big. That's your life's purpose. I always knew I wanted to help others. I didn't know how all the time, but I always knew, and I was afraid to kind of manifest that in the way I thought. You know, nobody around me in my neighborhood, none of my friends, none of the people that I knew at the time of starting my business were on this type of timing, so it felt very, very uncomfortable. Very isolating too. So it's like, when you walk the path of your purpose, it's going to be more uncomfortable than anything you've ever done before. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable, but I promise you, the fulfillment that you feel every day is unmatched. Like every day I wake up and I'm like excited. And I think back to the days of my life when I was in school and I didn't want to wake up in the morning. I wanted to sleep. I remember the days that, I was going through that bad relationship, being treated badly, getting cheated on. And I remember not wanting to wake up in the morning. I remember I just wanted to sleep and I wanted like the real world to not be life. I literally enjoyed dreaming more than my actual world. And I was like, bro, there's no way in hell that the creator of the universe put me on this planet to suffer and to want to go to sleep all the time. I literally wanted to sleep all the time. And the truth is, if you feel that way, bro, you're called for so much more. The suffering you're going through right now is because you're resisting from reading your book. And if you just pick up the pages and read it and take that leap of faith, you will see all the rewards and blessings that God has in store for you. But if you keep putting it off, if you keep hesitating, if you keep saying, yo, maybe tomorrow, this is hard, this is weird, I don't know if I can do this, bro, that's the rest of your life. You're gonna suffer the rest of your life. And the thing is, God doesn't place any of us here to be complacent, to be okay with what's around us. You always need to be in a state of growth. As you go up a level, you should strive to go up the next and the next and the next and the next and the next. But as soon as you find yourself complacent, you should actually get scared. Because when you get complacent is when you hit rock bottom. And I can tell you that from my experiences I've shared with you, every time I've hit rock bottom is because I got comfortable. Got comfortable with that girl, ended up hitting rock bottom. Got comfortable with my basketball career, ended up not taking it as far as I should have. Got comfortable in school, could have got better grades, but didn't. So it's like, every time you get comfortable, you're going in the wrong direction. You should have a burning desire and passion to live in your purpose every day. Every day I wake up and it's not a day where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm like, yo, I'm excited. Let's go for a walk and film this YouTube video. Like, I get hype, and when I don't do it, the regret consumes me. I go to bed at night and I'm like, damn, I could have changed someone's life today by putting out that video, but I didn't. So every day is an opportunity for you to not only change your life, but change all of those around you. You have a purpose on this earth that you're being called to live in. And every day that you put that off, man, suffering is coming your way. Because it's like, you're literally not woken up today. You were not woken up today to just do nothing. You were woken up today to do each and every single thing that God is calling you to. Now, I've been speaking a lot about this purpose stuff, doing what you need to do, not getting caught up in other people's books. And you may be asking, Ivan, how can I actually do this myself? You're speaking all these words, but how can I actually apply this to my life? So I'm gonna break down the only steps that you need to actually level up the rest of this year. I mean, we're literally 5 months out from the start of the new year, and I'm gonna tell you the exact step-by-step process that you need to get to that life that you want. So the first step is gonna be breaking free from comfort. If you're literally giving into so many vices, you're going out drinking with the boys every weekend, you're hooking up with a new girl every few weeks, you're watching The Hub, you're vaping and you're drinking, yo, you gotta put all that down. You gotta put all that down and leave it in the past. You can't expect yourself to be able to embody your dream life without actually putting in work and deserving it? Do you really think the version of you that watches porn every night and vapes through a vape every single week and whatever, gets drunk every week and hooks up with random girls, you think he deserves the life of your dreams? Can he even handle that? Could he even receive that blessing? And you're gonna say no. Because I felt that way when I was a loser and I was engaging in a bunch of terrible habits. I wouldn't have been able to handle the life I have right now. I had no discipline, I had no structure, and it wasn't until I actually built it that everything changed. So I'm telling you right now, that is the first thing. You need to eliminate comfortability from your life. You need to start doing things that are hard. You need to start waking up early, set a time and wake up, stick to it every single day. You need to start going to the gym daily. I don't care what your workout routine looks like. You just need to get in there. Get in there, even if you just hop on the Stairmaster for 20 minutes. Get in the gym, because the gym it takes discipline. And when you show up every day, you get addicted to the right things. You get addicted to good dopamine. Like when I don't go to the gym, I feel like I'm missing it. But back in the day, it used to be the opposite. It used to be, yo, I want to drink and I miss drinking. But nah, now if I don't go to the gym, I miss the gym. So you need to rewire your dopamine receptors to actually be addicted to what is good for you. So that's step number one. Step number two is going to be aligning with your purpose and aligning with the identity of you that has everything you want. So how do you do that? Step number two, aligning with it, is going to be finding what it is. You got to find your purpose. I literally talked to you about this early in the video, but you have to figure out exactly what your purpose is. What is that dream in your heart that's so big that you're afraid to tell people? What is that dream inside of you that you've thought about for a while, but you haven't taken action on? Maybe in the back of your mind, you've always thought, yo, I kind of want to get into real estate. And you always think about it, and you've always had a fascination with houses, and you've always wanted to remodel houses and fix them, stuff like that. Bro, that's your purpose. That's what God's calling you to do, at least in this point in your life. Maybe that'll create generational wealth, but you never know. That's just an example, but you never know what your purpose may be. It's literally masked and hidden within these little thoughts in your head, these little fascinations that you have. And once you decode everything that you love to do, that's what your purpose is. I always loved to help people. I always loved the gym. I always loved being healthy. I always loved having a nice physique. I decoded that with all those things together, that was my purpose. And so that's literally how you do it. That's the system to do it. So ask yourself, what are your favorite hobbies? What do you love to do? What would you do for free for the rest of your life if you could live off of it? And once you understand that, there you go. There's your purpose. So now step number three is going to be applying it, because it's one thing to know your purpose and it's another to apply it. There was a stretch, like I said earlier, of probably a few months to maybe even a year of me knowing that, yo, I should get into coaching. I should help other people. And I didn't take action on it because I was always questioning how, what if I can't? What if I'm not qualified? What if this. And there was that kind of like purgatory phase between me taking action and me actually, having the life that I want. It's one thing to know it, it's another to act on it. So once you find out what your purpose is, don't just sit there and study 500 YouTube videos like I did and not do anything. I watched like so many hours of YouTube videos on how to become a fitness coach and wasted all that time away instead of just doing it. So don't just go on YouTube and start studying how to do it and be like, yo, I'm gonna master all the skills first and then do it. Like, no. Start doing it. No matter how crappy your job is that you do it, we all suck at what we do at the beginning because we're new at it. You're not just gonna wake up and naturally be at a Kobe Bryant level. Kobe Bryant was terrible when he first picked up a basketball, but that's how it goes. You're gonna suck at what you wanna do and what you love when you first start. But as you fall in love with it and you show up each and every single day, that's where the true growth is made, and that's where you become the version of you that has it. So with those 3 steps, you will literally change your entire reality before the end of this year. If you apply everything that I just mentioned for the rest of this year, by December 31st, 2025, you will remember this video and be like, yo, Ivan, my entire life changed because I listened to what you said. So look, there's a difference, and I always tell this analogy to the guys inside Built by Faith coaching, but There's the difference between a man who reads 30 self-improvement books and the man who reads one. What's the difference? The difference is the man who reads 30 and does nothing makes no progress. But the man who reads one and applies each and every single principle that was taught to him makes the most progress. It's not about quality. It's not about quantity. It's about the quality. So if you can know everything in the world, not apply it, and still be a loser. Because it's one thing to know. To know and not to do is to not know. Just because you have the knowledge doesn't mean anything. You have to actually have the knowledge and apply it. I just gave you the knowledge, now you got to apply it. So if you watch this far in the video, brother, you're already watching. Take action. Scroll off of YouTube after this video ends and do something. Start taking action. Start writing out your purpose. Start writing out what you want. Start writing out your dream life. And bro, if you just reverse engineer everything you've ever wanted onto a piece of paper and sign a contract with yourself and say, yo, I'm gonna commit to this for the next 5 months of my year, which isn't even that long when you think about it. Say you live 85 years, 5 months is a very small percentage of that. I'm gonna dedicate 5 months to this, see if it works. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, worst case scenario, I'll be the same. And take action. What does it hurt? So give it a shot. Apply the steps that I'm telling you. And I am literally telling you from experience, I went from being skinny and having no confidence to being in the best shape of my life, having confidence and being able to have location freedom and travel wherever I want. Because I run an online fitness coaching business where I change others' lives. Like, guys, you can literally have anything you dream of. Since when? Who would have thought a year ago the skinny me, who wasn't going to college, who had no direction in life, would be here right now? Nobody. The only thing I had going for me was basketball, and even then, didn't go as far as I wanted to. So look, you need to take action. It's been around a year, maybe even less than that, since I started this coaching business. Yeah, I started back in November. So the date of this video, it's been about 8 months, 8 to 9 months, something like that. But literally, your life can change overnight. It can change overnight, just like it did for mine. But it all starts with action. And you may not see tangible results, like you may not see physical results immediately, but you feel different. You start to wake up in the morning and feel like you are the person of your dreams, because you start to align with it. And when you start to feel that feeling of, yo, it's already mine, I feel it, like I'm worthy, yo, you know you're in the right direction. You know everything is about to change. So guys, apply, do everything I just mentioned. If you didn't take notes, go back to the part of the video, write out the 3 most important steps and act on them now. It is August 2025. Guys, I want to see you all win. We all need to win this year. If you're supporting this channel, I support you and I got love for you. That's why I make these videos, because I want to see each and every single one of you win. And if you don't win, it's your choice, because I'm giving you the methods that took me years to figure out. But for those of you who have watched all the way through, much love. And for those of you who are serious, want to take action, but are still lacking that structure and need a little more guidance, apply for Built by Faith coaching down below. If you're a fit, we'll hop on a call, see where you're at. If it makes sense, we'll go from there. But with that being said, guys, I will catch each and every single one of you on the next video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.